Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently working on getting our economy a little bit more balanced. And we're making some pretty decent progress on that, actually. The Brazilian-American Friendship Committee is demanding action. You know what? We will look into that. What is their demand? Brazil has a rivalry with Spain. I don't know about that one. Let's take a quick look here. They are Great Power rank 6. We're probably not in a position to really do that. So we're probably just going to ignore that one for the time being. We could work towards bringing up our military power, but for the time being, I'd like to get our economy a little stronger before doing that. And I feel like we're going to have some jobs issues if we do that as well, so we'll see. Pops becoming more loyalist here would be good. We do want more loyalist Pops, so that is phenomenal. But of course, it's going to be slowly drifting upwards right now. And this is probably because we raised our taxes, and we're currently chilling at legitimate government 77. So that is definitely going to be part of it. Now, the combustion engine has just been invented. So that is a pretty big deal. We hit a stall on healthcare. 75% chance of minus 20. Or an 80% chance of minus 15. I'm going to go for that. Nothing happens. Okay, beautiful. So that looks good. Now we're at minus 40k. That's definitely a problem. I want to continue working on these motor industries for sure. We're definitely going to need to deal with the price of engines, but we do have some work that we can do. We're going to need to get electrification going. But I do want to think about going potentially... I don't think automobile production is actually that big of a deal right now, to be honest. So a lot of this we really just need electrification for. And we're working towards that. We're not quite to that point yet. We could go down to chainsaws. That would actually dramatically reduce the price of engines. And dramatically increase the price of oil. That's going to be a fundamental shift to a significant part of our economy. I'm going to do that, and we'll see what that ends up feeling like. That's going to be very interesting. So that's going to absolutely tank the price of engines. So that means that these motor industries here, they're not going to be great. So we can see here the price of engines, 25%. And we'll just let that update. Chilling at 22. Interesting. The price of oil has skyrocketed, and we definitely need to do something about that. Getting oil production going would be very good for us. So, to that end, let's go by job seekers. This is in Bajo, Paraguay. Okay, we've got a bunch of them there. And let's just work on satisfying that oil demand. So this will be in Minas Gerais next, and then in Sao Paulo. And that's pretty much what we can get done. Okay, I'm going to move up these motor industries. Iron mines and lead mines. And then we'll get going on all of this, and it'll be something kind of like this. We do need to get oil rigs going, so we're going to do 2 oil rigs in between each of these, I think. Something like that. So that should be reasonably good. That's going to be a bit problematic for us. We are very negative on the bureaucracy right now. That's interesting. So this is because of the nationally owned building levels, I believe. Fair enough. We could try to privatize some of our buildings. So that is definitely noted. We could work on privatizing them. I'm not sure we want to go that route. We'll see. But perhaps we could privatize some of these plantations and the like. But I think for the moment, we may want to just build in some government administrations. So these are 65 each, so that means that we need like 11 of them. So something like that, right? And then we can bring up this motor industry, lead mine, iron mine, like so. I'm going to bring up these 2 oil rigs as well. So the idea here is we get the iron mine and the lead mine done immediately, followed by the motor industry. Then we put in a government administration, then 2 oil rigs. And we can bring up a couple more oil rigs, something like this. And then that will be bringing down these oil rigs in terms of priority. I really wish we could drag and drop these. Unfortunately, that is not something that we can do. So let's just bring these oil rigs right on down. And I'm going to place them for now about right there. And then these oil rigs we can just keep on top. That seems reasonably fine for the moment. So that's going to take a little time to get through. That is absolutely understood, but we do need to work on that. I'm surprised we're not showing a shortage of oil. That is quite surprising. There's a transportation shortage in Chaco here, and the question is, do we need to do anything with that? Yes, we need to subsidize this railway. Okay, so that'll be fine. That will get handled. Perfect. So we've now got market access in Amazonas, and there's a railway being built there right now, so I'm really not too concerned about that. That's a private construction. That seems okay. So, oil is currently... It is dropping in its price at this point. Okay, it's because the whaling stations are picking up the slack. We probably don't need quite this quantity of oil rigs then. Let's drop off these oil rigs that are currently at the bottom, and let's just build these. I believe this is 6. So that should be fine for now. Now, I'm not necessarily okay with our current financial situation here, but I want to keep building and expanding our economy for the time being. That definitely must continue. So we've got interventionism, 386, 284. Preserve Charity Hospitals has a lot of people behind it, theoretically. And that is where we're getting a lot of the radicalism that's creeping up right now. A peculiar cult, huh? Okay, so the positivism has failed. They'll chase their impossible dreams forevermore. Perfect. So, exploiting the Amazon, huh? We need to get rubber plantations built in there. Gantry trains are a thing. That's fine. So, rubber plantations, the main problem here is we lack a huge amount of demand for the rubber. That will change. And this is actually not too terrible right now, but I don't really want to queue up more here. We've got a lot in the construction queue at this time, and that seems okay. So do we need these 2 oil rigs is a question I want to ask. We're at plus 15. I don't think we do. I'm going to cancel these 2 oil rigs. And instead, we'll bring down this government administration down to about here or so. And we'll move up this iron mine. That'll be fine for now. We're just waiting for some of this to be a little bit more easily movable, but for the time being, we could do something kind of like this. That seems okay. And then this lead mine can go on up. Looks good. And then that is, of course, going to get placed right about here. Corporatism has been unlocked, noted. And then we'll do the same thing with this iron mine. We'll just move that straight on up. That gets placed here. We need one more moved up, so that will be something along the lines of this. That looks correct. And then we would place this guy here, and then this guy here, this guy here, and then this guy here, about like that. Okay, cool. So we're going to get this oil rig done in Sao Paulo. That is, of course, going to kind of destroy the price of oil. That's okay. The price of oil has been coming down nicely. We don't need further oil rigs than what we have queued up here. So that all looks good. The steel is not phenomenal. We could definitely work on that. We could continue to work on clothing, but engines need a lot of work. That is likely part and parcel with that steel price. Where are we? We need to be in here. There we go. Let's take a look at our motor industries. Specifically, okay, La Paz has very negative infrastructure. That needs to be worked on, definitely. That alone would help matters a lot. So we're going to need railways in La Paz. Each of these are 25 infrastructure, so we need 5 levels here. That is accurate. Wow, okay. Unless we can change production methods here. No, we're not allowed to change those production methods. So we'll just have to invest in some railways there. Let's move up this oil rig, this government administration, but these railways are actually a very high priority. We do need to get that market access coming up. So that is something that we're working on here. And we'll get through that pretty quickly. So that's not too big of a concern. We'll get a government administration finished here, and public health insurance might pass here. There's a 40% chance of that. We hit a stall. Okay. Nothing happens. Perfect. So our highest chance is success. It's likely that it'll pass here. Minus 1.34k. Okay, this is going up very quickly. We are increasing our social security. That must be what we've got going on here, but I don't know. That definitely feels like a lot. I do want to move up this government administration then. I think that this is very important, and we may even want to get, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 government administrations here. I think we're going to need them at this point. So let's put these in. I think Minister A's will be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is going to be bringing up this government administration to top, then these railways, something like this, interspersing something kind of along the lines of this. Okay. That is a lot of administration that we need, but honestly, we've got a huge unrealized tax here. It's a lot of tax waste, 42.2% from our bureaucracy right now. We definitely need to work on that. I'm surprised that we're having our bureaucracy go up this quickly. I'm not actually sure what's causing that, but something clearly is. And it appears to just be institutions. Okay, so that's fine. We'll work our way through that. So our current legitimacy is 77, noted. And that is the best we can do right now. So that is fine for the moment. We need to get public health insurance through. This is currently killing us in the radicalism, so we absolutely need to do that. And we need to get these constructions done too. They should go reasonably quickly. But this deficit is very painful. No doubt about that. Well, we're 2 weeks away from a government administration. There's taxation capacity coming through. That doesn't actually help us, but that does bring us down to central planning, which will ultimately help us. That will allow us to get telephone switchboards, although I think we'll need telephones for that as well. Won't we? Where are telephones in here? I know they're in here somewhere. Well, regardless, I believe that we will need telephone switchboards for that. So let's hop on down here. And yeah, that'll give us... We'll need telephones for that. And that, of course, is produced in electrics industries, which we are going to require the telephone for, which is this. So we may want to research this first, and then research central planning. Like that. Because there's no point in having this done if we can't actually get any telephones out of it. So that's fine. We hit another stall here. Can we get a setback? I mean, yeah. That'll boost us up to a 50% chance, so... With any luck, we'll get a decent roll on that one. But we're having some serious issues right now with our finances. And this is due to absolutely our bureaucracy. We're working on it. So I'm going to move up our government administrations like so. We're a little bit not where we want to be on that. So that is fine. We'll just move them up a little bit and make that happen just a little bit quicker. This guy can move up as well. Cool. So we're going to be working on government administrations for a while here. We've got 6 years away on our construction queue. And I really want to stop adding things to the construction queue for a little bit. That's a difficult thing to do. No doubt about that. That is challenging. So we're still colonizing down over here. We can consider dropping back on our colonization fairly soon, but I still want to be colonizing relatively quickly-ish down this way. So that'll be fine for now. And we're just going to continue tearing through this deficit of administration at this point. This admin deficit. We certainly need to do that. And that will help cut into our regular deficit as well. But our regular deficit, a huge amount of that is just interest, which is currently up to about 30k a week. And that is getting painful at this point. So that is definitely noted. We want to bring that back around. We can see that our GDP has dropped off, and that's unsurprising, given the substitutions that we've recently made. So that is noted. The price on engines has been steadily rising. We should be able to absorb this. I'm not too concerned about that. These are being built in Bajo Paraguay as well, so that seems reasonably fine. I'm not too concerned about about engines at this point, since we've got private construction coming in on that one. The bureaucracy, on the other hand, that definitely needs to be worked on. So we've got some negative trade routes here. Okay, we'll get rid of those. That seems fine for now. The question is, do we have anything that we're massively overproducing at this moment? Let's find out. Yes, wine. We should absolutely be exporting some wine. We'll export to the British and the French market. That was actually the Javanese market. I wanted to do the French market. I guess that's fine. What else are we massively overproducing? Well, sugar. And exporting sugar is always a good thing. We'll send some to the British market. There's not a lot to be done here, but that seems relatively okay. What else do we want to export here? Well, fruit. Fruit would be a decent one to export. We can send that to the British market and to the American market and to the Belgian market. That all seems relatively okay. And then we've also got a fair amount of liquor and tea. We can export some tea here to the Belgian market only. Noted. And what about liquor? So liquor is minus 47%. We can export some of this. Excellent. And then we've got luxury furniture here, which we should definitely be exporting to the American market, to the British market. All of this is pretty okay. Looks good. And what else? Well, I mean, there's always coffee, which we would be delighted to do some exporting of. Sure, that seems fine. And then there's porcelain here, which, again, we could certainly export some porcelain. To the British market, to the American market, to the Javanese, to the Ottoman market. That all looks fine. We're down to just 20 convoys at this point, so that is absolutely noted. We've got fabric here, and we've also got tobacco. Let's do tobacco first. Only the Javanese market. Okay. And then where's that fabric at? Here it is. So we'll export some of that to the Belgian market and a little bit to the French market, I guess. That'll be relatively fine-ish. And that gets us some of these most low-demand goods exporting. So we had a debate here. Apparently, it automatically went through. That's fine. We definitely ignored that for a while. So that is certainly noted. And we're getting these railways going. In La Paz, how are things going for infrastructure? It's definitely getting better. The market access here is at 79, so that is improving. That's good. That is going to reduce the price on engines on its own. So that's looking fine. And we're still working on these government administrations as well, but the last two railways are being worked on. It's going to be done within 17 weeks. So that looks great. We now have public health insurance. Okay, so now we find ourselves in a surplus of bureaucracy, and that means I'm going to cancel these government administrations that we haven't started on yet. Cool. And now we can hop into our institutions. We can bring up our health system, in theory. And yeah, we'll definitely work on that for right now. We're also working on bringing up our home affairs, which I would like to be doing. That's going to cost us a lot of bureaucracy, and we'll see how much bureaucracy we end up needing for all of that. So that is definitely understood. That's going to be eating up our bureaucracy for a while. But we're just going to continue to get a couple of additional government administrations here, so that will help matters some. We'll see where that balance ends up sitting. But for now, this looks okay. I'm going to move up this wheat farm to about here. And then I'm going to move up this wheat farm to about here. Then this wheat farm here, about like that. Cool, that looks good. So we're making very solid progress on this. We're down to a deficit of 27.3K. That looks very solid in comparison to what it was anyway. Our GDP has recovered nicely, as expected. The intelligentsia are currently petitioning us to pass total separation. We'll see what we can do on that. I don't know. Do we want total separation here? It'll radicalize the Catholics, but I think that's okay. Let's go for it. That seems okay. Let's get going on that one. So our Social Security investment comes up. And of course, this is going to increase our welfare payments, but we're not paying much in welfare right now anyway. So I'm not too concerned about that one. Now, our entire deficit right now is interest. So that is certainly not great. We need to expand our economy a little bit more in order to start paying down that interest and start the debt snowball rolling. So that is absolutely understood. We're going to finish up this government administration and railway, and then we're going to start really digging into getting mines and farms going, which should help the base level of our economy here somewhat. If we check in here, we can see 844k peasants. That number is on the rise, and that is not surprising necessarily. Bishop takes black pawn, huh? So the Minas Republican Party is getting momentum here. Okay. Well, we'll see how this ends up going. We're probably, again, going to be looking for a coalition between the trade union and the intelligentsia, judging by these numbers. So we'll see how that ultimate election pans out, but that's what we're currently looking at as our likely governing coalition. For now, our iron mines are definitely being worked on, so we're working on the bottom level of our economy now again, and that is very, very good. The good old days, huh? Minas Republican Party definitely getting some momentum here. I don't think they're even going to win a plurality here, but we'll see. We'll see what the legitimacy ends up looking like. So we're at -1 convoys right now, and we should probably consider, well, this is a military shipyard here. We should probably consider getting a port to deal with that. So that would be a port, and these generate 150 convoys. So we would put that in somewhere like Sao Paulo, perhaps. We're definitely running low on actual workers. So that's noted. I put that in, but I pressed spacebar instead of pressing Alt. I don't know why. I want that port at the top. I want to generate a few more convoys here. So yeah, that definitely needs to be worked on. Cool. So we're a bit negative on our authority. I'm not too concerned about that. Partisan papers here. Minas Republican Party or paper mills throughput. We're going to take the paper mills throughput. Thanks. And the petite bourgeoisie are interested in helping. We got an advance on total separation. Okay. We can definitely work with that. Cool. So I'll bump this up to a 30% chance. That seems relatively fine. And these ports, of course, build quite quickly, so that won't slow us down too much in terms of our construction here. We've now cracked 40 million in our GDP, and we have some inactive trade routes here. This isn't necessarily shocking. This one and this one. Okay. So that will, of course, bring up our number of convoys, and we're going to get this port done. That'll help as well on the convoy situation. Russian socialists are currently attempting to meddle a little bit. We're going to try to limit foreign influence in the election. Thank you very much. I don't mind the National Liberation Alliance getting additional momentum here, just because of legitimacy, but we probably aren't going to go ultimately the communist route here, so that's probably not the route that we're going to go. We'll see. We're about 30 days away from the election. It'll be interesting to see how this one pans out, but it's definitely looking like that'll be our governing coalition. At the very least, the trade unions will be in there. We'll see what it looks like in terms of legitimacy. It's always exciting. Always exciting. That said, our radicalism numbers are trending downward, but slowly. Very slowly. So that's good. We are seeing our standard of living creeping upwards as our GDP does. And our GDP is definitely getting some solid growth here. Okay, the election is coming in 3 days. 2, 1, and here's the election. This rubber plantation, workers were severely mistreated immediately. Okay, well, you know, that's a good sign. Let's reduce our rubber plantation throughput. I guess that's okay. It's not great, but this is currently, yep, the best that we're going to get. It's still the intelligentsia and trade union in power. It's not going to get better than this. We're at legitimate government 75, so it's not ideal, but it'll do for now. Cool. So we're finishing up a lead mine here. I would love to see us going actually positive here. I think this is fake positive right now. But if we could start paying down that interest, that would be phenomenal. Yeah, that was indeed fake positive. But we're getting very, very close. So that looks good. I guess we'll favor the Petit Bourgeoisie's interpretation here. That's fine. Oil has been discovered in Uruguay. That's absolutely okay as well. But we are about to go positive in our finances. We're finally to the point where we can construct at this speed sustainably. And that is phenomenal. We're really, really glad about that, and we're just going to continue to construct like this. It's going to be great. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.